I get this comment a lot anytime I publicly talk about my ED, and you don't have to believe me, but do you really think that the medical community and nutritionists and all of the experts that they interview when they also interview me that agree with me, do you think that they're all lying?
You are a liar.
Hey everybody, it's Tony with Big T Bariatric, and I'm back at you with another video. And today we're going to cover Tess Holliday. But before we get into that, if you could do me a huge favor, look down below and see if you're subscribed to my channel. And if you're not, please hit that button for me. I greatly appreciate it. Like this video, share it, leave a comment, do anything you can to interact with it so that its reach gets expanded and so people can start seeing this message of the anti-BOPO coalition that we got going on here. There's a lot of us and our numbers are growing. Thankfully, we got more and more people joining our cause, talking about all of the things that go on with obesity, why it's not something that we should be proud of. And so today when we cover Tess Holliday, we're going to see her sort of complain and even break down in tears about why she's no longer modeling. She says that she is being pushed out of the industry, and so she no longer really models anymore. So let's get into it right now.
One of the most asked questions I get is, are you still modeling? And I just wanted to answer that really quickly. I am not really still modeling because I have been pushed out of the space, and it's probably because of my size, it's probably because of my age, or because I have a loud mouth and I speak about things that we should all give a shit about. But regardless, no, I don't really model anymore.
You know, I could sort of sympathize with people who have a dream, who really want to do something with their life, and it just doesn't work out for them. They put forth the effort, they want to do it, and it doesn't work out. They don't make it. The industry is too tough. Maybe there's standards that are too demanding, and they just don't make it. But just like you can't be 5 foot tall and be a successful football player or a basketball player, if you want to be a model, you actually have to work at it. You have to fit within the industry standard. Now, I don't like the industry standard, and so some of what Tess Holliday fights for, don't get mad at me, all right? Like, I can understand what she's saying. Like, we shouldn't be pushing women to be very stick thin. Like, that is not something that we should ever want. We should advocate for more normal-sized people being models, because the normal sized is what represents most people. But what she is pushing for is absolutely ridiculous. She just expects that because she has a pretty face, that she should be allowed into the modeling industry. And that's absolutely wrong. She does not want to work for it. She doesn't even want to try. She expects that the entire industry needs to accept her as she is, as big as she is, and that's it. Now, while there are areas of plus size modeling out there, I don't know, she is the standard, so there's got to be other reasons why she's not modeling right now. And like she said, it could be also her age. She's getting up there in age. But like I said, you know, if you really have a dream, then you're going to have to work for it to fit within the standards. Like, my dream is to be a pastor. All right, I can't just walk into a church and say, hey, I want to be a pastor and you have to accept me. No, I have to go to Bible college. I have to get a degree. I have to have experience. I have to study the Bible. I have to know things. I have to work in the industry for a long time. And so you can't just show up like Tess Holliday expects and says, I want to be a model, make me a model. And then it's your fault if I'm not a model. because you're judging me for this, or this. Like, even in the Bible, there's all kinds of qualifications for a pastor. You have to fit within these qualifications. The same goes for modeling. The same goes for any industry out there. I can't just go out and get any job that I want being 400 or 500, 600 pounds. It's just not going to work because I cannot handle the workload. Like I talked about wanting to work at Meijer years ago. Meijer is a big superstore, kind of like Walmart. They're mostly here in the Midwest. But so I got an interview. I was glad. I was excited. I'm like, okay, I'm finally going to get a job. And then when I walked in, the guy took one look at me and decided I wasn't going to be a good fit. But he wanted to test me out. He said, walk around the store with me. And I followed him around the store. And he proved his point. Like, just walking around the store one time took 5-10 minutes. I was out of breath. I was not in good enough shape for the job that they wanted me to do. And so he just made a good point. He said, I don't think you'd be a good fit here. You'd have to stand on your feet and walk around and work for 8 hours a day. I wouldn't be able to do that job at the time. So they didn't hire me. I mean, you have to fit within the qualifications. You have to be able to be in a good enough shape to do the job that they ask you to do. And so if you really wanted to be a model, Tess Holliday, if that's something that was on your heart and it's something that you've dreamed of doing your whole life, then maybe you should have lost a little bit of weight. But instead of doing that, instead of doing what it takes to be a successful model in the industry, and I guess we can say you were a successful model, you made it more than many other who dream of being a model. You were on magazine covers and you were on TV and you did all kinds of things within the industry. So you were successful in some ways that many other people aren't successful. So we can't even call you a failure at that. But if you wanted to make your dream go further, you could have tried to lose a little bit of weight. But instead of doing that, you cared more about your messaging that it's okay to be fat than anything else. That's what you cared about the most. Is you would rather stay fat, you would rather stick with your food addiction, you would rather eat so much food than give some of that up to live in a caloric deficit so you could lose enough weight to feel better about yourself, to have more confidence in yourself, so that you can be a model in the industry. But you didn't want to do that.
That's why I've been doing other things. And you have to do other things in this industry. And one of my fans said, you pushed me out of the room, I'll build a new one, and I will. I will keep fielding of dreams my way through this.
She said it right there, my way. If you push me out of the room, I'm going to go build my own room and do things my way. You don't think you should have to submit within any sort of standard to be successful in an industry. You have to do it your way, the way you want to do it. And that's what's wrong about this entire argument. The whole obesity problem here is all these fat activists are saying it's got to be done my way. You got to do it my way. You have to fit in what I want you to do. You have to change the entire standard to fit us. We don't have to fit into your standard. You have to fit within our standard. You have to change the size of everything. You have to rebuild the airplanes and rebuild the hotels and make the sidewalks bigger and do all these things and make all the benches and seats and everything bigger and the bathrooms bigger. Like, you have to conform to us. You have to do it our way because this is our dream. We want to be able to work within society, but society makes it hard on us. So it's society that has to change. And that's absolutely ridiculous. Again, if you want to be a model, maybe you should do what you can to fit into the room again. You're not going to be that successful saying it's got to be my way. And again, there are the Tess Hollidays out there who are successful, who were able to push the mold a little bit and get some of the stuff done that they want to do. But the majority of fat people out there are not going to be models, no matter how hard they try. It's just impossible for them to fit within certain industries. And instead of telling them to push forward and make society change for them, you should be telling them that they need to lose a little bit of weight because they're not going to live very much longer. Tess Holliday is one of those people that if she doesn't change as soon as possible, she's not going to be with us very much longer. We're going to see the headlines that Tess Holliday did not make it. And all of her friends, her children, everybody who is pushing forward for this are either going to turn their back on her and totally ignore that she even existed, or they're going to mourn her and say, wow, maybe it's time for me to wake up and realize that I've been doing this wrong my entire life. I've been following Tess Holliday because it's easier to believe her dishonest messaging that it's okay to be obese than it is to actually take control of my life and lose the weight.
But it's just the reality, and it's sometimes very difficult reality to deal with. You can tell I've been crying. It's been one of those mornings. I was just on live talking about all of this, but you know, it's just one of those things that I can let it be soul destroying, or I can just keep getting up and fighting, and I'm gonna keep doing that.
Again, this is just pure ego coming from Tess Holliday here. I've been crying about it. It's been so difficult, but I'm just gonna keep pushing forward. I'm gonna keep fighting. It's like, you talk about soul crushing, but what about body crushing? What about physical limiting? Like, again, you're just blaming everybody else. It's everybody else's fault. It's the industry's fault that you're not a model. Instead of fitting to conform what a model should be, so you can be more physically active, so you can handle the role of a model, you're just going to say, I'm just going to cry about it, and then I'm going to get up and keep fighting. And then the more brick walls I'm going to hit, I'm going to break through them like the Kool-Aid Man. And it's going to be all about me. It's going to be how I want it to be. It's going to be my qualifications. It's going to be my standard. It's just me, 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 me. Screw everything else. It's got to be about me. And you don't care about the number of people you are hurting by lying to them and telling them it's okay to be fat, that you're sexy because you're fat.
Because you are a hottie. Yeah, you.
And you could be whoever you want to be and live however you want to live. And it doesn't matter that you can't handle the role because of your size. I mean, this is just an absolute wreck of a person here, who's so emotionally distraught, who often is on camera eating gobs of food or crying about how difficult it is being overweight. And instead of doing something about it, she's just going to keep pushing the standards and saying it's everybody else's fault. And that's ridiculous.
So if you see me pop up and you like what I'm doing and you've been a fan of mine for a long time, you can check out the new things I'm doing. I'm doing a series every Friday called Diversity, where I interview folks in the industry that are actually making change and steps towards diversity and inclusivity, which is massively important, so that hopefully in the future, folks like me don't get pushed out of spaces that we definitely belong in.
I'm sorry, but you don't belong in those spaces. Those spaces are not for you. She's talking about diversity, and diversity can be great. We are a variety of sizes. We all do look differently. We all have different skin colors. But when you advocate for obesity, you're pushing a dangerous message that's going to harm a lot of people. It's going to kill a lot of people. And so you have more people than ever who are joining this body positivity movement, which they totally hijacked it. They compare themselves to racial people and the obstacles that racial people go through. And you act like you're the victim because you don't fit in certain spaces. You're literally outsizing yourself. You can't make the room bigger to fit you because you want it to. You have to make yourself smaller to fit into the room that you want to fit into. So again, you need to stop demanding that everybody conforms to you. You're not going to change the modeling industry forever. You're just not going to do it. I don't care who you are, or how pretty you are, or how powerful you think you are. Again, I'm not advocating for people to be stick-thin models here. That's not what I'm advocating for. That's the wrong side of it. I wouldn't advocate for anybody to have to do that. All right? I wish modeling was more normal-sized people. We don't need to have more fat role models out there. We just don't. Because the more we advocate for more fat people in movies and fat people on TV and fat people as role models, the bigger the country's going to be. The more kids who are going to grow up thinking it's okay to be fat because Tess Holliday's fat. And that's what I'm going up against. We don't need more Tess Hollidays out there saying it's okay to be fat when it's not. It's dangerous and it's killing people. And you're going to get to a point where your whole life is wrecked by your obesity. So the more Tess Holliday is out there spouting these lines, the more dangerous it is for other people. Anyways, that's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know down in the comments what you think. I appreciate it very much. Love you. God bless you. Have a great day.